Like I like to sit on my porch and talk to people, and I thought that'd be a good thing to do. Have kind of some porch conversations with people to like lift up things that need and deserve to be lifted up, like the Yancey County mask makers.
Well,
So
thank you.
that's what we're going to talk about today. And I let me just say to whoever watches this that my name's Beth Turner, and I'm the priest at St. Thomas Episcopal Church in Burnsville. And my church is in Yancey County. And so we care about things that are going on that are helping our people be safe, especially right now, and to be more whole as a community. And I'm so excited to talk to Joy Boothe today about the Yancey County mask makers. And I'm wondering, Joy, if you could tell us a little bit about how it is that you call Burnsville home and what it means to you to be part of this community. Just introduce yourself more fully to me, actually. I've not heard
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yes, I am Joy Boothe, and I moved to Yancey County in the early 1970s, and didn't have a plan for how long I would live here because I was a very young woman. But I met my husband here, and one day leads to the next, and we built a house and raised sons, and are still in the house that we built together in the suburbs of Micaville. So
The suburbs of the city of Micaville. That's
yeah,
it. I'll have to explain that to some folks that listen to this, but suffice it to say, Micaville is almost is a post office and a little more, right?
that's it.
It's beautiful there. It's beautiful. Well, why don't you tell us, Joy, how this whole Yancey County mask makers came to be? We know that we're in the middle of a horrific pandemic that's affecting the whole world and is now finding its way into our smaller rural communities. And you initiated this whole idea, as I understand it, and I'd like to know a little bit more about how that came to be.
On March 20th of this year, I sewed the first mask one Sunday afternoon. Living here so long, I'm well acquainted with many people, and my friends who are doctors and nurses and employees at the Spruce Pine Hospital had been telling me that at that time the ER doctor was given one N95 mask per shift. The nurses were given one per week, and the mask, you literally had to make a case of if you believed someone coming into the hospital had COVID, and that could even be approved or not approved for you getting another mask. So I decided to sew some masks for my friends, and I posted on Facebook Sunday night a photo of me holding up a dozen masks that I had made that afternoon, and other people messaged me saying they would like to sew, they would like to do that. And I set up a Yancey Mask Makers Facebook page, and it went from there because we do live in a community that cares for one another. And so I have been the coordinator, facilitator since March 20th.
Wow. Knowing, Joy, that you have been a part of so many community-centered endeavors here, I'm not surprised that this one found its way to you, and the inspiration of making just one mask on a Sunday afternoon. And then who knew, right? I remember when that Facebook page went up.
Yeah.
I sure do. Can you say a little bit about how you came to choose Rosie the Riveter, which is on your t-shirt, and I have one too.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I have mine on. I wore mine for talking with you today.
Uh-huh.
Well, not too long after we started, a Yancey County couple knew that I had been thinking about something that would be a logo, if you will, just for our Facebook page, and they paid out of their own funds Tim Honeycutt to design the logo, and he and I had talked a little bit about Rosie the Riveter, and of course this image has been used for many, many things since since it was used for the war efforts and so forth. But it was perfect, and he did a great job of it. He went above and beyond creating it. And real early on, Tim, who's a graphic designer among other talents, and Joy Robertson uh, were making stickers for us and bumper stickers. They were for free, because that was, they didn't make masks, but that was something that they could do, was to help us raise awareness of the mask making.
Absolutely. And to make it clear the truth that this is a purposeful activity that has to do with protecting other people and protecting ourselves and our community. So
Yes,
it sort of inspires in that way, doesn't it? I love that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow. So tell me about the people that are making the mask. There are a whole bunch of them, and about what you've accomplished so much so far. Every day I look on, at least twice a day, on the Facebook page to see how many hundreds more masks have been made. But what have you all been able to accomplish so far, and how do you
Well,
see that? What places in our community is that impacting?
okay, to date, we've sewn over 13,080 masks, and I say over because many of our mask makers also make masks that they donate through their churches, that they donate other places. So we have 13,080 that have been distributed uh, on behalf of the Yancey mask makers. Um, we don't have as many people sewing as people would think when you think of that many masks. And if you've ever made a mask, it's pretty labor intensive. And our mask makers have different skill levels, and the mask designs have evolved as we've known more. And and in the beginning, we were so scrambling. People were cleaning out their quilting supplies. We got the 100% cotton sheets that were on hand at our a reconciliation house or bark and basement, other things in the community. So we were just scrambling to get masks out into the community. And we've had a couple men sew. In large part they have been women. We've had as much as several dozen sewing at one time. Right now we probably only have about 4 active sewers. But what I will say about that is it is such a community effort. And I always say to people, if you've made one mask, or if you used to be a production sewer at one of our textile factories that closed down and can make 100 masks in a few days,
Right.
it all matters. It all counts, because we are attempting to keep people safe and hopefully save lives. So in the beginning with that shortage, and this is before our EMS or our fire departments or our sheriff's office or any of these places they weren't they had some mask on hand. But one of our earliest things that we did was sew masks for all the volunteer fire departments, all the EMS, the sheriff's department, the courthouse, the judges. and
Right.
and and one thing that was really important to all of us when we heard how many people were dying in nursing homes in New York State, boy, this gives me chills still. Within a few days, it'll make me cry. Within a few days, we sewed hundreds and hundreds of masks that went to the nursing homes in Yancey County. So,
Wow.
so that any worker or patient client at the nursing home that was able to put one on or have somebody else put one on could have one available. And I'll say really quickly that then the nursing home were saying a lot of our folks have arthritis and can't use their hands well. And I put that on the Facebook page. And like, bam, 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 these women came back and developed an easy off and on design for people.
People with arthritis. Wow.
Exactly. So I can't say enough about these folks that sew. It's from Belog to Beuladine to Burnsville. It's just all across the county. We have one woman that sews with one arm. She only has a partial arm, and she has sewn hundreds and hundreds of masks. And I don't know what more you would like me to.
Well, I really appreciate the responsiveness of you and your sewers, and also just one of the characteristics I think of our community is that this is a very kind community, and people are smart and eager to strategize. And so when that need arose, they were right on it. And it is touching, and it's touching when people think of even those really sweet details that are not just details, but it shouldn't hurt to put a mask on, and you guys found a way around that. That's really beautiful. Really beautiful. And I understand, didn't you say you were making different kinds of masks for frontline workers than for, there are different levels of different kinds of fabric that you use and all that. And I don't know if you had some of those you wanted to show to me, or if you just want to describe them.
No, I have them. I have them right here.
I'd love to see them.
You had asked me about that. And as I said, our designs have evolved as we've learned more, and there are different people, even in the same job, or more comfortable with the different styles.
Absolutely.
So I will show you this one that has a pocket that you can put filtration in. And so you can change out the filtration in it. And this has been one, for instance, over at the hospital. Back in when we first started making the mask, the hospital wasn't providing masks for admissions, janitorial staff, the support people. Right. And so this was a kind of mask that could go to someone who was coming in contact with everybody coming into the hospital, but they could change out the filtration.
Yeah, you can put a coffee filter or a piece of vacuum cleaner filter in those, I believe.
There's different things you can put in there, and I'm actually posting tonight research on what's been proven to be the very best to use as filtration. And I am going to order a roll of that we can get all cut up and have on hand, ready to supply it, particularly to our frontline medical people.
Wonderful.
So yes, I told you about a special mask that we had made that, for one thing, they match. This one's green.
Oh, that looks like they match the
yes, the scrubs.
Hospital scrubs, yeah.
So there's gray.
Oh, so that puts some
navy blue.
Means you have a uniform to go with your uniform during this.
Right, that's brown. And at the hospital they use the ties, as you know, on their various masks. And this has a special liner out of high density fiber. So these two layers offer, just by themselves, a large measure of protection. But if you put some other filtration material in here, that's more protection. And what was happening in the beginning with the medical folks is they would take one of our masks and put it over the top of a surgical mask, right, to make that last longer, because they could wash our mask and it was protecting that surgical.
So it made the surgical mask last longer.
And the N95 last longer.
Wow.
And as I said, we have all kinds of different designs because people prefer different things. One of the innovations that everybody likes are using pony beads. So this mask has this sliding bead that you can just slide down, and it makes it fit over yeah, just fit tight to your face,
You can
which is
get the seal that way that they say is helpful. Yeah.
yes, very important. So that one has the pony beads. Some people like elastic over their ears. We've several dental offices have asked some of their employees have said they preferred the elastic over the ears. We have masks that we distribute through Reconciliation House Ministries. Um,
Hmm.
you know, to anyone who's in need that asks. And these again, that we try to have different patterns just to make it a little more appealing to people to wear them. And so this has a string that we make out of t-shirts because it made it faster. We don't have to sew them. You
I
cut
had
the
seen
t-shirt.
a tutorial on that. You even
Yes,
have one. Yeah.
it rolls itself up, and it again has this bead that you can slide up and down to make it tight against your face. And I'll just quickly show you, which we just try to have
Oh,
different materials that would appeal to different people. And I don't have any today that are made of camouflage material, but we found uh, sometimes, not always, but sometimes men are more reluctant to wear a mask.
right.
And so we did do some out of uh, camouflage material and just other things that made them bandana material that made them more appealing. And with school starting,
Yeah, I
uh,
want to hear about the children's masks because those have a special purpose for being colorful, don't they?
very, very much so, because we really want to make it less scary for the child, to hopefully make it a happy thing for them to wear,
Right.
and to make it more likely they'll wear them. So this one has little cars and sunshines,
Sweet.
and that one's a cowgirl.
Oh, look at that.
This one, whoops, this one has
Sport,
basketballs and footballs.
lots of balls.
Yeah, and I will say, even though our county got a one-time allotment of 22,000 masks, uh, to make it clear to people, those won't last forever. They
Right.
say they'll last up to 15 washings, um, and that it's a one size fits all.
Right.
So while maybe for some larger fifth grade children they would fit, and those could be used in the schools, it's so important to have a mask that actually fits a child's face.
That's right.
And Head Start began, oh gosh, maybe 6 weeks ago at least. And we made special masks for all the teachers, so they'd have several masks. We made several masks per child and the children over three, I mean, under three are not recommended to wear a mask.
Right. For safety reasons.
They have the three on up. So we provided the Head Start with hundreds of children's masks and masks for the teachers.
Well, Joy, it's very touching to me, and I'm sure it has been even more so to the people that receive them, that the details have been thought of, and that in some sense these masks are created especially for them, taking into account what their life situation is like and how large they are, and even what they, might feel would more comfortable wearing, even from a style standpoint or something. And of course, all of that is motivation, as we're trying to inspire people to take care of themselves. That is absolutely amazing. And I love the children's mask, and that we're trying to help children feel safe wearing something that's helping keep them safe. That's just beautiful. Thank you. And I just wondered how you're getting these masks out, and are they being delivered mostly by you or by other people?
Well, I would begin that with saying unequivocally, this is a team effort from people that have
Mm-hmm.
donated money, donated supplies, um, that that have done cutting. They maybe could not sew, but they've cut out pieces. They've made strings, even though they couldn't cut or sew. So it's a team effort. And I have done most of the delivering just because I'm coordinating, and it's just simplified it that people get in touch with me with the need for masks,
Yes.
um, which actually comes in all different kinds of ways, comes to my attention.
Mm.
And it's been a bit like an underground railroad, the deliveries, what I have done in each quadrant of the county. I have a place where I can drop off materials for people in a lidded tub in a
Okay.
location. They can leave masks for me, and we don't have to see because of COVID.
Right.
And, so trying to have a health wise secure way.
Yeah. So you have like a protocol and safety practice that goes even with the delivery of the
Mhm.
materials of the
Yeah.
mask to people.
Yeah, and we have a woman in town, Miss Faye Presnell, who is a professional seamstress and has a shop, and she has been so kind-hearted in letting us store bolts of 100% cotton that we bought ahead of time, and I have just trusted my prayers and heart and instincts, hoping that I was wrong. But we have some fabric ahead for this winter.
Right.
People don't realize when manufacturing left the United States, a lot of it is in China and
Right.
other places. So even the suppliers, because many people across the country at this point are sewing masks. We were actually among the first groups to start, but at this point, many are, and it's getting more difficult to get the materials that we need. So we have some stored uh, with Miss Presnell's shop, just preparing ahead for what we may face this winter. And we also have something of a stockpile for the medical
For the
community.
medical community. Yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds like the kind of planning that those original women did when the riveters were making. You have to be strategic and have forethought and have stockpiles and all kinds of
yes,
things like that. So what is the current need that you all are experiencing now? We've been talking about that a little bit, you and I, which is the reason we're doing this
yeah,
conversation that we want to share with other people. And you shared some specs with me about what's going on in our hospitals and things like that in terms of having to reuse things and also anticipating school opening. But what would you say about what the current need that's pressing in on you is, and what would you say we could do to be helpful? And there may be more than one way, but we sure want to do it.
yeah. Well, all of the ways of helping that I've mentioned during the thread of our conversation, um, people donating 100% cotton material like quilting grade
Okay,
cotton, uh, t-shirts. They can have holes in them, but clean t-shirts that we can make the ties out of.
sure.
Any of those materials that are needed. We also welcome anyone that would help in any way from sewing, even if it's a couple of masks. We need we need more people sewing because our core group has been sewing since March.
And there's some wear and tear on them, I'm sure, even though they're still
Yes,
passionate about what they're doing. We want to give people some respite from
yeah,
time to time.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So yes, we need materials, sewers. If somebody wants to donate money, it can be donated through Compassionate Care of Western North Carolina. Attention Ronnie Gregory, and I can send you that information that you could.
I think you have sent that to me, and I'm going to find a way to put it up on the screen so people can
Okay.
see it, and
Yeah,
also so if anybody wants to put it, in their newsletter,
yeah.
things
And
like.
also, I'm sorry, I was just going to say that people can, if they buy one of our T-shirts, we get a percentage of the proceeds to help us to buy sewing materials. But this is all volunteers. Nobody charges. I don't charge for gas. Nobody charges for gas. We don't all 100% of the money that we've been given has gone to buy cotton material, thread. You know, I have bought a few pairs of scissors because people wear out their own sewing supplies.
That's right. Yeah.
Sewing, yeah.
So, wow. Well, and we're going to be looking for some grant money to help you with this cause as well, which is another reason that we're having this conversation so we can share the story. And I guess the kind of the last thing I wanted to ask you, Joy, you've made over 13,000 masks, and I wanted to hear just a little bit from you about how you have seen community being created and unity being nurtured in this project. And if I recall correctly, when we first talked about it, you said that was a little bit of a surprise for you, but it's been a secondary blessing that you'd like for us to know about. I'd like to hear that in your own words, what you've seen in terms of people coming together, when in so many places right now, that's not what's happening, but it does seem to be happening. And then this project seems to have something to do with that in our local place.
Well, I'm glad to have the chance to talk about that because we all need hope.
Yes, we do.
You know, we all need hope. Um, I will say it didn't totally surprise me. And in the past, I've been a past president of the Chamber of Rotary of different things in this community, and we have a strong tap root of agriculture and interdependence in this community. You know,
Yeah,
that's all the fundraisers for things. But what is new is sadly a lot of political divisiveness in the
yeah,
community now.
right.
And so I will tell you the absolute truth. These people sewing are Baptist, Quaker, Episcopalian, Presbyterian, or no religion. You know, they are Republican, Democratic, Independent, or not registered to vote.
Yeah,
Now, this is what I will say, and this is true, and I may cry again. Not once has a woman said to me, I don't give my mask to whoever, or only give my mask to a Baptist, or don't give my mask to a Democrat. That's never been said to me. There's the common denominator of we love our community. Now, that this has gone on this long, that does surprise me, that this unity,
right.
unity. And every day that gives me hope.
Well, that gives me hope as well. And I think it is giving a lot of people hope, and it will give some hope to the people that hear the story that you just told. So the surprising part was that the sustaining of this, and also that it would never occur to anybody that anyone who wore a mask was anything but a beloved human being,
Yes,
fellow human being in our community.
yes.
Wow. Well, that is certainly, Joy, a message worth hearing. It's worth sharing widely. And it's, I think, some good news and inspiration and hope that we can say really easily our whole nation and our whole world needs to hear. And
Well,
I want to thank you for being connected to me, to somebody asked me if you were connected to my church, and I'm like, of course she's connected to my church. And whether you go to this church or that church, I feel like that's one of the things that's true in Yancey County. I want to say, is that a real question? Of course, we are all connected and we feel a part of one another.
yes.
So thank you for what you're doing. And I'm going to get that address and the information about how people can help. And we're going to submit a grant to our Episcopal diocese and also invite anybody who wants to just donate of their own accord or out of another agency to participate.
Can I
So
say one more thing?
yes, you may. Please do. Please say something, whatever you want to say. You get the last word.
Well, I'll say it because I'm so grateful. And honestly, I'd beg if I needed to. We're at the ends of our donated funds, and we would very much like to keep sewing. And many of the women, just like in life, you'll find sometimes the people that give the most have the least,
Yeah.
and they have given out of every piece of cloth they had, every hour they have. And I really appeal to people to help us keep sewing, and to know that as you do your part, we'll keep doing our part. And
Yeah.
I do believe that we are saving lives by getting masks out to these children going back to school. Now again, we're back where we started, trying to help the medical workers and so forth. So yeah, please help us.
I have no doubt that your story will be heard, and that there are going to be some forms of help on the way that maybe we didn't anticipate. So thank you, Joy, and bless you. And we will continue to be talking to each other.
Thank you. And we all will get through this. We'll get
We
to the
will.
other side.
We will get to the other side.
Bye
Peace,
bye.
peace be with you.
Bye bye.